Yeah.
All right.
Maybe.
Hey, we are now live. We just on air just a couple minutes early so we can do a sound check, make sure that we're sounding as
Yeah,
good as we can. So let me bring my
I
monitor.
really wanted to hear what Lurch was gonna say.
I'll message you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a little bit of side conversation going on while I was plugging us in. So for those who are confused, you're going to stay confused. uh, anyway, let's see here. Wait till the stream comes up on my monitor. Alrighty. All right, and check 1 2, check 1 2.
Chickity check.
All right, and
Chickity check.
okay. It's a little quiet, but that could be my sound settings. Let me check here real quick. I hate
Is it me who's quiet or Lurch who's quiet?
that all of us seem to be a little quiet, which could just be the sound settings on my computer. For if Discord likes to readjust. Yeah, my Google sound was down. Okay, so it should be good. All right. Anyway, we're here. It's just a couple minutes early, but we're here every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time here with Game Time, where we cover anything and everything going on in the nerdosphere with myself, Lurch, and Angel as my co-host. And we try to bring everything to you. Now, we were not here last week. We took a personal day. We didn't have a whole lot going on, so we decided to postpone and not do one last week. We do apologize for that.
Well,
for our regular.
I mean, there wasn't a ton of news, but that that each of us was really wanting to talk about. But we all had like other like personal things that was kind of coming up, and so it was just kind of a perfect storm scenario, I guess.
So I went ahead and suggested that we take the week off. Because of that, for those who don't know, Lurch has been out of town dealing with personal stuff. Angel had a busy week at his other job, so that he just didn't have time to do a lot of things. And I wasn't feeling 100%. In fact, this recent weekend, I had a bout of food poisoning too, so that didn't help either.
Oh man.
Anyway, speaking of which, we like to start our show every week now with kind of going around to see what has been happening with everybody since the last show. So let's start with Angel. How's your last couple of weeks been?
I got my car total.
Hold on. It sounds like you're in a bad area. Let's skip you and go to Lurch and come back. It sounds like you're in a bad
Somehow
area.
it's just as you call on him that his service gets rough.
So we'll come back to you. Lurch, how has your last 2 weeks been?
Oh my goodness. So Friday evening, I found out I needed to relocate to a different Airbnb with just a matter of hours kind of a notice. I thought we were getting ours extended, but we found out Friday, like 4 p.m., that we had to be out by 10 a.m. the next morning. And like the check-ins for these Airbnbs tend to be like, either 2 p.m. or 5 p.m. or something like that. So I was like, I'm going to have to get something that's available tonight and then start moving over there now.
Right.
And so we were able to get booked another spot. That's where I am now, and just spent all night relocating our stuff. But with Allie's cancer stuff, she couldn't do a whole lot. She did what she could, but she couldn't do a whole lot, and so I had to do most of it. And so it was a lot of work to get things moved over. We got finished moving over at we got to sleep about 4 in the morning, but I had to get up at 8:30 in the morning because I still needed to go back and fix the blinds that the cat broke. Which took 3 trips. The cat broke 3 different sets of blinds at that house that we were renting, and there's a pet deposit that I forget what it was, like $150 or something like that. So I needed to try to get those fixed. And so I had to take 3 trips to the store to get the right ones. And like the Home Depot, I had to get the ones from Home Depot. Turns out the ones from Walmart weren't right. They didn't have any at Walmart that were right, so I had to go to Home Depot, got them. Anyway, so yeah, that was a big pain. And then this morning, the first thing I did this morning is fall down the stairs. About half a flight of stairs I fell because I was I'm on the second floor. There's a bedroom on the second floor that I'm using because Allie and I have to sleep in separate rooms while she's going through chemo. And as I was going down the stairs, I was about maybe halfway down the steps when I slipped on the carpeted stairs and just slammed on my back and then, more or less kind of slid down while bouncing to the bottom of the steps.
So
Until my butt hit the floor, my feet were up against the wall.
So as Angel said, it was pretty accurate. You were stair surfing.
Yes. Stair surfing on my back.
Yes, you're not supposed to belly walk down the stairs.
Oh my goodness.
So you may see me like grimacing in pain from time to time or like shifting or something because it feels like my whole back is bruised. To try to help relieve the pain, I did stop. Today was supposed to be an easy day. Like most of the days, we have between 3 to 5 appointments for Allie's cancer stuff, and today we only had 2 appointments. It's supposed to be an easy day. Have one at like 9:30 in the morning, and then one at like 4 p.m. That was supposed to be it. But with this whole fall, I was feeling like crap today, and so I had to. Fortunately, we had a window of time in the middle of the day that I was able to stop at a massage place, and Guy and I both 30-minute massages with a focusing on all the parts of me that was in pain from the fall. And I'm still in quite a bit of pain, but the massage has helped a lot.
Good. I think I have a temporary amount of surgery.
Hey, yeah. Let's move on while we got the window. So how's your week? Your past couple weeks been, Angel?
All right. So my couple of weeks have been my car got totaled, so that's the bad news. My good news is it got paid off. It's pretty much guaranteed at this point. I spent like a week and a half, I spent like 2 solid weeks worrying about having to pay the rest of my car off, even though I don't have it anymore, like 600 month payments, and also having to get payments on a new car. But I found out today that I have gap insurance that past me thought was a good idea to get. I didn't know I had it, so that's been extremely instrumental. Apparently, it'll cover everything.
Good.
So, yeah, right now I'm in a rental, which is why you guys are seeing through the window instead of into here, because it is not set up for this kind of area.
We're just glad that you make it in. You don't always have the availability because you're busy and stuff, and half the time, your connection wants to fall off just when we want to talk to you.
There are three points on I-44 in between Springfield and St. Louis that completely throttle my internet. And those 3 points are the times that you guys want to talk to me. I don't know how you always meet those 3 points.
We have it clocked. Me and Lurch did it. It's a conspiracy.
We got these little sticky notes on the side of our monitors with a timer.
Be sure to call it Angel
turned
now. No, okay. Well, like I said, for me, basically, I've just had the bout of food poisoning, which meant I didn't do dialysis on Monday.
Oh no.
That's okay. I mean, when you get food poisoning, that means you evacuate fluids by every means possible. So there's no way that I'm over on fluids right now. In fact, I'm probably under. I feel dehydrated because of so much. And I'm not going to go into the details there because that's frankly disgusting. But
yeah.
Anyway, other than that, not a whole lot. I went a whole month without using my annual pass to the movies because of me being sick most of the month for one reason or another. So I never did get to see a movie.
Oh, no.
I paying the monthly fee and didn't even use it once the last month.
Oh no.
I hate that, but when you're sick, you know, you can't really go. And Ralphie hadn't
Yeah.
been getting back to me either. But that's okay because the good set of movies is starting to come out because we have Quantum Mania coming out. We got Cocaine Bear coming out. We got a few of them coming out here in the next few weeks.
I honestly do really want to watch Cocaine Bear, but I think I'm gonna need to wait until that comes to home video of some kind, streaming of some kind.
I think it is. Yeah. Same here. I'm definitely, that's not something I can like invest. I mean, yeah, if it's streaming, I'll fucking watch it. I don't think I'll buy it.
For me, it's just a matter of, because you guys know me, I love going to the movies. It's one of my favorite leisure activities is going to the movies. I prefer watching movies at the movies over watching them at home even, but just the circumstances I'm in right now, I need to be like very particular about which movies I take the time to go to the theaters to see. I think the only one I'm going to end up seeing this month in theaters is going to be Quantumania. I haven't been to the movies since Allie's cancer diagnosis.
Right.
Because we've just been so busy with this whole business. But for Quantumania, we're going to have to try to find a way to make it work. Hopefully, because
there's an AMC out there,
know.
right? There's an AMC out there, right? So you can use your...
I haven't found an AMC out here, so I'll just have to go to one of the other theaters. There's one not too far from here. I got to make sure they have the comfortable seats that she can sit in, because she can't sit upright for very long.
Does the other theater take the AMC Movie Pass, or are you going to have to pay?
No, I'm just going to have to pay full price.
Did you suspend your Movie Pass for a month or so?
I have not suspended my subscription yet.
Probably
no. I've been intending to, but I haven't gotten to it.
Yeah, because you're going to be gone for a little while.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just giving them money for free. I mean, not that, you know, theaters don't need it, but you need it too.
Did you guys hear about the changing of the pricing structure that AMC is doing?
Angel started to talk about that.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about that last week, but I didn't get. That was my topic I wanted to talk about last week, but we could talk about it now.
They were going to do the pricing in the middle seats is going to be more expensive, wasn't it?
Yeah. The middle seats were going to be more expensive, and then the side seats were going to be a lot less expensive, which it's just like, okay, well, at that point, you're penalizing poor people to a lesser experience rather than it be first come, first serve, which is unifying in its structure.
Yeah. So, like, if I remember right, front row is going to be the cheapest, and then the side seats are going to be, you know, a little bit more expensive than that, but still, you know, not, you know, fairly priced, and then the middle seats will be the premium priced seats. And I don't know how much that's going to be. And then I know if you have the membership, it covers seats anywhere. So even the premium seats, the AMC Stubs membership gets you.
Well,
what's frustrating about that is you still have to abide by the first come first serve rule, so that you might not even be guaranteed a good seat. You know, whenever you want, like it's like almost punishing.
Yeah.
That's the advantage.
Well, what would suck is if you intend on getting the cheap seats. I think this would be the worst case scenario. If you intend on getting the cheap seats because that's all you can afford, but you really want to see the movie, and you get there and the cheap seats are all sold out and only the expensive ones are available.
Yeah. I can see that scenario happen.
So I'm a little bit on the fence on how I feel about it because it's the same. Live production plays do the same thing, except for they charge extra for the front seat.
Sporting events do the same thing. Yeah, stadium, any kind of stadium.
I mean, but those were, you're getting that live performance. Movie theaters have always been catering to a more casual crowd, and now you're asking them to, I mean. The fact that they charge differently per the seat that you use incites scalpers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is the reason why scalpers exist, is because the front row seats are more expensive. That is the whole purpose. So we can for sure see a rise in the scalping market for fucking movie theater tickets. That's absurd.
Yeah, but more and more people are getting their tickets linked to their cell phones, so it's harder to scalp. But
I
Yeah.
mean, no. Here's what they do, right? If you're not using AMC Plus or something like it, and you're just using a ticket, you screenshot the ticket, and that like scalpers will buy the ticket and then sell the screenshots to people.
yeah, because all you need is a PDF, all you need is a JPEG or PNG
Yep.
of it.
So it would be nothing at all for a scalper to be able to scalp these things,
Yeah.
and be able to manage that effectively. Or who's to say that you go to a scalper? Same fucking problem. Scalpers sell you double tickets whenever you go to the theaters and you go to scan it. It's like, oh, this was already scanned. Fuck.
Yeah, it's a scalp.
Yeah.
Big ticket Marvel, a big ticket Marvel. This is why I'm upset. A big ticket Marvel production. People who want to see it on the first night, like you and me, Lurch, might have to struggle to find tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
and then
that's where it changes the. I don't like it.
and multi-cell scalpers are bad because it's not like you can go after them for selling you a duplicate copy because buying a scalp ticket's not technically legal in the first place.
That is correct. It is illegal. It decentivizes people to seek any kind of
But
justice.
there's no real justice to do because you bought an illegal item. They're not going to go after them even if you did report them. They'd go after them for selling the ticket, but they wouldn't go after them and get you your money back.
Yeah, tickets are specifically not to be resold.
Yeah.
Technically, you're not even supposed to gift them, but people do.
Well,
But
there's separate systems for gifting tickets through the theater.
Yeah. But I mean, like, if you bought a ticket, like if you bought physical tickets to a place, and you're like, well, I can't make it. Here you go. Just have them scan the barcode. Then you get to go in. Your friend gets to go in. Technically, if they weren't specifically designed as like gifts, that's illegal, or not illegal, but certainly against their policy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's non-transferable. So it's kind of that's kind of like the issue that I'm looking at is this could certainly create a problem for people who want to watch movies at AMC.
Yeah.
It's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Two advantages.
Yeah, like
I've got Alamo, not AMC, and I've got the Movie Pass, so I don't have to worry about it either way.
yeah, that's you bring up the good point of what I was is that all these other things that I listed that have varying prices on tickets are live events where you're seeing people in person and people want to be closer to the performers. You want to see race cars up close. You want to get closer to the racers, or you want to get close to the football players, or close to the basketball players. So maybe Shaq falls on you when he's catching a loose ball.
All the ones you listed, but I think Mann's Chinese Theater in Hollywood, where a lot of the premieres happen, they do preferred already.
But again, seeing something live, generally people aren't worried about spoilers, right? The value in scalping a ticket for a movie theater isn't that you're going to be seeing it live and you're having that experience. The experiences and the scalping of the tickets is certainly going to be the first couple of days.
Yeah.
It's going to be, you have to plug your ears and say la 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 la. Enough people find that worthwhile of watching the movie on the first night that scalpers are going to take advantage of that.
Absolutely.
I mean, scalpers exist for all markets, not just theaters or not just like live events. And certainly, it already exists for movie theaters. I'm not saying this is going to be a new concept. I'm going to say that this is going to exacerbate a problem by a lot for people who want to watch it in AMC.
So, yeah, it's I don't know. I'm not sure how much it'll affect the scalping market, but I do know that it is just on its own, even without the scalping part of the conversation. It is a pretty weird scenario to decide to charge different prices for a
Yeah.
screened, non-live event.
And even whenever you do the scalping thing, I suspect it's going to be a bigger problem in bigger cities than it is in smaller cities. Case in point, I used to collect NECA figures like NECA for Godzilla, and scalping is a huge problem almost everywhere else. But I live in just small enough town where I can get like the TMNT Super Shredder or Ultimate Super Shredder NECA figure. I was able to find, but like people in fucking Kansas City or people in St. Louis are like, where are these things? Scalpers are buying them and selling them for $200, you know. And it's you know, so I do suspect that if scalping does become a problem, it likely won't affect people in Springfield as much as it will other places.
Yeah, it all depends.
Yeah, that's probably true.
It all depends, but yeah. Anyway, that wasn't one of our actual topics for the week, but it was a. Yeah.
I mean, that was a topic we pushed over. Like, I feel like that was intended to be a thing, but yeah.
Yeah, but it is something that is impactful for us, and we don't mind going into some of those little side jaunts. But what we're next going to do is actually hit to our actual topics for the week. So let me bring those up. As you see, the first one queued up on the screen is Nintendo Direct, which means it's Lurch's show. So how about Lurch?
Okay, so on February 8th, just a few days ago, Wednesday last week of this recording, we got a Nintendo Direct, which we only had 1 day of notice. Like, it was announced on the 7th and then broadcasted on the 8th. And this was I felt like a pretty mixed Direct. We got some spaces where I didn't quite care about so much, but then we got some really great news that I'm really happy about. So I'll just hit up some, just get kind of started with what we have on this list from Nintendo's website. We got a look at Pikmin 4, which is if you're not familiar with Pikmin, it's a game where you play as like this little space dude, and you got like tiny little aliens that you're using all around, like this kind of garden kind of stuff that you're controlling to do little jobs. I believe it even included a release date for that. We also got some DLC revealed for Splatoon 3, which have either of you ever played a Splatoon game? I think we've asked about this before.
I love Splatoon. I love the world. It's a post-apocalyptic world where humans died and squids evolved into humanoids. Fucking amazing. I dig it.
I've never even heard of it, except here.
I don't play it competitively, but I have played through the story multiple times in Splatoon 1 and 2. I haven't played.
I didn't think the older ones had. I didn't know they had stories. I thought this was the first one to get a story.
I believe. I believe that Splatoon 2 has a story. I don't remember if Splatoon. I think Splatoon 1 is a lot like Dark Souls, where you're just kind of doing stuff and the story is told to you.
Huh.
But we didn't get like a dedicated campaign. I don't think. I could be completely wrong. It has been many years. The last time I played Splatoon 2 was on the Wii U, I believe.
Gotcha. Well,
but I believe they have like some semblance of a story.
Gotcha. So yeah, they announced an expansion pass DLC with a couple of different expansion packs that are coming out in the near future. That this expansion pass gets you both of those expansion packs. One of them seems to introduce like a new hub area that you can hang out with people and a bunch of new content. Since I don't play Splatoon, I don't have a good frame of reference for the new content, but we actually got a fairly good chunk of time that was spent on like DLC for games. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has been announced to get a volume or to get a expansion pass, a new expansion pass called Volume 3, and there was something else that was getting some extra. Wave 2 of the Fire Emblem Engage expansion pass DLC, which is now available. And then there was something else getting an expansion pass. Anyway, I forgot to mention on Pikmin 4. Did either one of you ever play the Pikmin games?
No.
Yeah, I played the one on the GameCube.
I've thought about maybe going back and playing the GameCube game.
It's good.
I'm
It's
hope
good.
I'm hoping that Pikmin 4 may be like the best Pikmin game, or at least a really good Pikmin game, and give it a try. And if I like it enough, maybe go back to the GameCube original to see how it started.
The great thing about like Pikmin, games like it, the stylized like it, is like a lot of game developers will develop games with graphics that are the best of its time versus stylizing a game to have a very particular set of graphics. So even if you go back and play the GameCube game, it won't feel like it's an old game. It has like really unique controls anyway, and the graphics feel stylized and not that different from its like future, installation.
Yeah. And that's kind of true with a lot of Nintendo games, starting from the GameCube on. Not all of them, but a lot of them have that kind of a thing, where the style kind of makes up for the lack in graphical power, even for its time.
The only Pikmin game I've ever been able to play was that one. I've been interested in playing other Pikmin games. I just like someone released for the DS, I believe, and it released during a time where I wasn't buying DS games.
Yeah.
So like it just seems to happen that way. So maybe this will be different. But I really did enjoy Pikmin. I played it a lot.
Yeah. Speaking of GameCube games, Metroid Prime was announced. A remaster for Metroid Prime from the game, which was an old GameCube game, being re-released on the Nintendo Switch, and they announced it, and then it was like available today.
Oh shit, that's awesome!
Yeah.
And great transition, by the way.
Yeah, and thank you. And this fucking game, I don't know if you ever played Metroid Prime, but I fucking love Metroid Prime. I replayed Prime and Prime 2 just before Metroid Dread came out a year or so ago.
The whole Metroid franchise.
I've played every single Metroid game up until the 3DS era. Anything after that I have not played, but I've played every single Metroid game before that.
What was that? What were you saying, Doc?
As is, the Metroid franchise itself has always been great.
Yeah.
I love Metroid.
I did not get into it until the era of Prime, I think. I can't remember if my first one was Prime or Metroid Fusion. One of those two was the first I really played. I might have played a little bit of an older one at like a friend's house.
My first one was Metroid, period.
I had it on my Game Boy Advance. I had an older, it was ported to the Game Boy Advance, Metroid game. I don't remember what it was. If I played it again, I'd know, because the paper was like scratched off before I ever got my hands on it. And I rarely ever see the title screen.
I'm betting
it was the second Metroid.
I'm thinking it was the Game Boy Advance remake of the second Metroid game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Which was really well done. It was a really good remake of the Game Boy game.
That was the very first Metroid game I ever played. And then the second one was on the GameCube, and I didn't enjoy it as much.
Yeah. My first Metroid was the first Metroid.
On Nintendo? Yeah.
Yes, NES. Straight Metroid.
Oh yeah. It was.
I loved Samus. Samus was awesome.
Yeah. I went back and played it when I was like a teenager, I think, or maybe in my 20s. I went back and replayed it, and I went back and replayed most of the Metroid games actually just before Dread came out, because it's been so long.
For their era, they were great.
Yeah. Although what I actually did in preparation for Dread, I replayed. I didn't play like on the original cartridges or whatever, but like for Metroid 2, I didn't play this Game Boy version. I played the Game Boy Advance remake, and I played the original Metroid and I played Super Metroid, which is the third game, on Nintendo Switch Online service. This is in prep of Dread again, and then I replayed the Wii version of Prime and Prime 2 on the Wii U, And while they were, man, I don't know. I think Prime might be my favorite Metroid game, but it's hard to say. They're all really good. I can't think of a. Well, okay. I don't know. There might be a couple of those little offshoot games, but all the main Metroid games, all the main Metroid and Metroid Prime games, are pretty damn great.
Yeah, it's a quality franchise.
Yeah.
It really is.
It deserves more love and attention.
Actually,
it's so funny people like say Metroidvania, because I really do like. Not all Metroid games feel like Castlevania games, and not all Castlevania games feel like Metroid games. But there is some games that are overlapped that I just like fucking love about both of them. I'm a huge fan of both series.
But Metroid and Castlevania are both tentpole games for the Nintendo franchise, so they help make Nintendo.
I don't know quite as much.
No. Castlevania is all everybody. It's Konami. It's not a.
Right, but it was one of the big sellers of Nintendo NES.
I do think he's right, at least in regards of like the early Castlevania games were only on Nintendo, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, the first Castlevania came out NES.
Yeah, like at least the first 4, I think.
I know the first 2 were Castlevania and Simon's Quest were both on Nintendo.
Yeah. Castlevania 4 was on Super Nintendo.
Mhm.
And I think it was exclusively.
They were tentpole franchises though, just like how Mario is. I mean,
I don't think it jumped from Nintendo until PlayStation came along.
Yeah.
Well, it was always third party. It was always owned by Konami.
Oh yeah, it was.
It was third party, but it was licensed specifically for Nintendo for a lot of years.
Yeah. Konami made a lot of Nintendo exclusive games.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's true. You know, you're right. I'm hung up on Konami because one of my favorite games is on the PlayStation. So,
which one are you thinking of?
God, so many. The one that I played was Symphony of the Night on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying is that I think it was exclusive to Nintendo until PlayStation, which is true for several Konami games, I think, because like I think Mega Man was like that, exclusive to Nintendo until PlayStation. Metal Gear, I know for a fact, was exclusive to Nintendo until PlayStation. Other than the MSX2 computer system, but that's in Japan only.
Until Sony came out with the PlayStation, Nintendo had a pretty solid lock on a lot of the good console games.
A lot of good. I mean, Konami was making so many Nintendo games that they made a secondary company called Ultra so they can make more Nintendo games.
But, anyway, back to the Direct.
Yeah. So,
one of the things I saw here is...
I want to mention on that Metroid Prime remaster, I haven't had a chance to play it, but I've seen some footage of it, and I've seen some other people's impressions on it, and people are calling it a masterpiece of a remaster for the Switch. Like, they've updated the visuals dramatically, and they updated the controls, where you have like 3 different control scheme options. You have the original GameCube control scheme. You have the Wii control scheme, which uses motion for your aiming. You can use your nunchucks and aim. Or a new Switch control scheme that has a right analog stick. Because you might remember GameCube didn't have a right analog stick, and so it had to do a weird control scheme to make up for it. But the Wii used motion to aim and move around and look left and right like that. But this has a new third setting that's basically like a twin, 2 analog sticks, like a regular first-person shooter for modern-day controls. Otherwise, it's the exact same game besides updated visuals and things like that, updated textures, and then that update on the control scheme, and you can choose between the 3.
That actually could be really convenient because you got different gamers that have different styles they're used to playing and everything, so you can pick the one that fits your play style best.
Yeah. What was you going to say that you saw on here, Doc?
The expanded classic library with Game Boy and Game Boy Advance titles. That excites to me because I like those old titles.
Yeah, and me too. That's actually, of the entire Direct, that is my personal favorite announcement. I love the Prime. You own all these
I
games?
own no, not all of them, but I own a great many of them. I was looking at them and I was like, oh man, I wish they had more that I didn't have.
So yeah, the Metroid Prime announcement is my second favorite announcement from this direct, and my favorite announcement is the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance titles that they have put on Nintendo Switch. Um, for Game Boy, it also includes Game Boy Color, and that is added to the regular Nintendo Switch Online subscription service, and then Game Boy Advance is being added to, or has been added, because it went live on the same day as the Direct. The Game Boy Advance titles were added to the the Nintendo Switch Online Plus Expansion Pass, which is the pass that also includes Sega Genesis and N64 games. And what's something that's really awesome in the Nintendo or in the Game Boy library side of things, when you're playing, you can choose between if you want to play it with original Game Boy visuals, or with Game Boy Pocket graphics, or with Game Boy Color graphics. And it's like if you were putting the original Game Boy cartridge in those three different systems. For anyone that is not super familiar with that, like the original Game Boy itself had like a really green screen and then like black LCD lines. And then
the original Game Boy had 4 shades of gray, but because of the way that they overlaid the screens, would show up green on the on the original game.
And this emulates that visual so that it looks green if you want to use it with the original Game Boy filter. And then if you switch it to Game Boy Pocket filter, it's a lot more grayscale. So you just got the shades of gray without that green tint.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And then you can choose on Game Boy Color. If most games, if you took original Game Boy games and put them into a Game Boy Color, it would update the colors to have like 4 different colors instead of just green. And so you could have some color to your Pokemon. I don't think it was,
like
I think it was more than 4
color comic layouts. Yeah.
Yeah, Pokemon took advantage of that by having like solid colors going from each town. So like Cerulean City would be a deep blue, and Fuchsia City would be a purple or purplish pink, and a whole bunch of stuff. It was great taking advantage of that.
Yeah. That was really cool. I'm not entirely sure how they did that on an engineering level, making regular Game Boy games show up like that on Game Boy Colors, but that was so freaking cool. And I love that they added that, because that's one of the things that's annoyed me before is like, there's been other times where like you can get original Game Boy games playable on like the DS or something, but they're in just original grayscale. And like, come on, guys! Like, we got minimal color.
So actually, that has.
You're breaking up on us again, Angel.
You're in one of those 3 zones.
Yeah. I think what it is in preparation when they were designing the game's code, they were putting in the 3-color code values, whether they were used or not, in preparation for technology to get to the point where they could do color. Because remember, everything is in all colors on the computers are based on a 3-color code combination. You know.
Yeah. I'm really hoping at some point they put out Pokemon games on this service. There's no Pokemon games not on the list. Hey, you're kind of
can
back.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Okay. So quickly, I'm gonna try to say this quickly. Pokemon wants to be a separate entity other than Nintendo. So they're actively not working with first party because they're not considering themselves first party. The Pokemon company is now a third party publisher of Pokemon games exclusively to Nintendo.
Yeah.
So then they cease to make money if they make their stuff exclusive, if they release it. They'll probably want to do it on their own. Something like they did on the Game Boy. On the DS.
Okay, I say there's no Pokemon. There is one Pokemon game in the Game Boy lineup, but it's Pokemon trading card game.
The card game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So my thinking of their reasoning for that is because their Pokemon themselves are wanting to set out little collections of the stuff like they did on DS, which was extremely popular. Um, and Pokemon likes to create uh, needs. You know what I mean? Like Nintendo and Pokemon themselves like to artificially funnel products so that they're worth more. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like so main series Pokemon games likely won't come out on this service for free, but we might see them as a paid collection later down the line.
Maybe. I mean, if they can put them on the Switch, just make them playable on the Switch. I wish they would put them on this service because I'm already paying for this service, and I'd love it to be able to play some of the older Pokemon games on here.
I guess it's kind of like the Mega Man collection where it's like they want. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but Pokemon generally doesn't give stuff for free. Not anything that they care about.
Yeah. Didn't they put? Maybe they didn't. I was thinking they put a couple of Mega Man games on the Nintendo NES game library, but they might not have.
Well, they might not have, but also that was kind of like apples and oranges of me to bring up.
Yeah.
Because Konami is not nearly as tight gripped on their products as Pokemon is.
Yeah. But so we did get some pretty cool games that I'm really happy to see. I'll just go through what we have, like the Game Boy games. I'll start with the Game Boy games that are available today. We got Tetris, Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins, which if you haven't played, that's a pretty solid Game Boy game. It's funny, I actually replayed that game just a few months ago on, I think, what was I using? I think I was using my Game Boy Advance DS or Game Boy DS, Nintendo DS. I was playing that on one of those. Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening DX, which is an interesting addition because they not too long ago released Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening something. It was like a modern remake of Link's Awakening.
Yeah, they did, and the NES or SNES one also already had DX on it. And so, yeah, I believe it was DX on it already. Or no, it wasn't Link's Awakening. I'm sorry, Link's Awakening was a Game Boy exclusive. So yeah, yeah, I might be thinking of myself. I own both. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot.
So
yeah, Link's Awakening is great. It's one of my favorite Zelda games. Sorry, go on.
So yeah, Link's Awakening, they did a remake of Link's Awakening on the Switch not too long ago, and now they have the original Link's Awakening, or at least the DX version of it, for Game Boy on this service.
Okay, so that's great. DX is, in case you don't know, DX is Link's Awakening without the bugs.
Without the bugs. Good. We don't need a bugs. Then we got Gargoyle's Quest, which, if I remember right, it is a game where you have Firebrand. I think that's who you play as. You play as a character from, what was that, Ghosts and Goblins or something, on his own solo game.
Awesome.
Yeah. I could be, don't quote me on that, but I believe Gargoyle's Quest was a game where you played as, like, the demon-like character from Ghosts and Goblins on a solo, single-player adventure. And then Game & Watch Gallery 3, which was, I used to own this, actually, when I was a kid, and I don't know what happened to it. I lost it, I think, when I moved from Texas. But Game & Watch Gallery 3 is like a collection of small games that I found really addictive when I was like 11 years old or something. So I'm looking forward to kind of getting some nostalgia from replaying that. Alone in the Dark: The New Nightmare was a Game Boy Color game that I've never played, so I can't give much, but I'm not sure what to think about that one. But Metroid 2: Return of Samus, which was I think that's the game that you were saying might have been your first one, Angel.
Yes.
Basically the story of Metroid 2 is, like, in Metroid 1, you didn't know what Metroids were. Samus comes to this planet, and there's pirates, and you find out that they are, like, I think they're trying to experiment with Metroids, and then the Metroids like overtake the pirates or something like that, and you have to fight the Metroids. Metroid 2 is your people have figured out where the homeworld is of the Metroids, and you go there to eradicate them. Like that's kind of the objective for Samus, is to specifically hunt them down and make them extinct. Which is, it's a solid Game Boy game that also got a remake on Game Boy Advance that is a really good remake.
Yeah.
But worthwhile going back and playing the original game if you want to get your hands on how it used to play. Wario Land 3, which I never owned this one, I don't think, but I did play it at some point, or maybe it wasn't 3, but I did play one of these games.
Just a follow-up aside on a previous topic, Nintendo completely and wholly owns the Pokemon brand. The Pokemon company only manages it.
So I think you misunderstood what I was trying to say. I said that Pokemon Company is trying to distance themselves away.
They're trying. Nintendo fully owns it. So
yeah, that's I was saying that they're trying to be a third party.
But they can't.
But I mean, they can. They just have to be able to like wrest themselves from. I mean, Nintendo will never ever let them go. But they are trying to like figure out their own identity, really. And so that's not new.
Because I mean,
and Pokemon Company has more brand say-so over Pokemon than Nintendo.
Nintendo owns the IP, so they have 100% of brand say-so.
I guess what I mean is, if Pokemon Company doesn't like what Nintendo says they need to do, they can just not do it, and there's not much Nintendo could do about it.
They just stop making games.
Yeah, there's really not much Nintendo can do about it. That's what I was saying, was like, Pokemon Company is actively the one making the decisions for Pokemon, and they are treating Pokemon like, if they don't want. There was what was it? Nintendo wanted to do something with the Pokemon brand, and the Pokemon Company said no, and like there was nothing Nintendo could do to make them say yes. Like, they have almost complete control over the brand. I'm not saying legally that that's the case. I'm saying, like, internally, Pokemon Company holds the cards of, like, they have way more leverage.
Well, you know what's interesting is, I don't know how accurate this is, but I saw something a while back that talked a lot about how in something different about Japanese culture versus American culture is there's more, like, they put more emphasis on, like, on some sort of a level of respect versus legalities on a lot of things over there. And so, like, there's, like, some things that Americans have to have written out in their contracts very explicitly. The Japanese tend to just more implicitly expect, because they don't require that level of fine print for what they consider to be like a certain level of respectfulness, I guess. And that's part of why, like, a lot of times when they get into business with someone, before they actually get into business, they like to get to know them on more of a personal level, to know if they feel like they can trust them and things like that. They don't want to get into business with someone they don't trust.
Let's look at the past history of. Okay, so Konami fires Hideo Kojima, right?
Yes.
The fans revolt. All of the fans, a very vibrant bunch. Like, each one of them having a loud voice. Konami tries to put out a fucking game, it fucking bombs. One, because Kojima didn't make it, and two, because it fucking sucked because Kojima didn't make it. And there's a level of, you have to understand the amount of power that if Pokemon fans, imagine Pokemon fans, a brand recognized more globally than Mickey Mouse, learned that Nintendo fired Pokemon Company crew. What that would do to Nintendo. Nintendo holds no power over Pokemon Company.
Yeah, so it's like they legally have that power, but reputation. I guess that's a bigger thing of it, is reputation.
Yeah, the amount of respect and, like, To be such a global juggernaut that was handled and managed by the Pokemon Company, a company that was forced to be made in order to handle the global power. The Pokemon Company was like they had to make it specifically called the Pokemon Company because of that. It's crazy. It is absolutely nuts.
I remember the first time I saw the Pokemon Company, I thought that was just how they were describing Game Freak. Or Game Freak, the Pokemon Company.
They had to create an entirely new legal entity to manage it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like that clearly tells you that Nintendo wasn't up for managing something so globally massive.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if Pokemon Company says no, there's nothing Nintendo can fucking do about it.
And our last title that's available today for the Game Boy side is Kirby's Dream Land, which is one I've not played, but after playing Kirby in the Forgotten Lands or whatever, I'm kind of like, Kirby's starting to grow on me, and so I'm wanting to play more of his games. So I'll be giving this game a try here before too long.
It's excellent.
So Kirby's Dream Land, and then games they're going to be adding in the future is The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons, which I'm really excited for. That's a game I wanted to play when I was younger, and I couldn't convince my parents to buy it for me because I already had Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages, and they're like, "What's the difference?" And so I couldn't convince them to get me the other one. But I loved Oracle of Ages, which, interestingly, Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons are both made by, oh shoot, who was that? I think was it Capcom that made those two instead of Nintendo?
I actually don't know. But that wouldn't be the first, or that wouldn't be the last time that games were created for Legend of Zelda that wasn't Nintendo.
Yeah, the Minish Cap was the other example.
And then there's also the rhythm game for something of Hyrule. I forget what it's called.
Oh yeah, there's that, and then there's also the Hyrule Warriors, which is like the
yeah.
So yeah, they've been really fast and loose with the Zelda franchise, even back to the 2D days. It looks like.
Yeah.
And then we got Pokemon Trading Card Game and Kirby Tilt and Tumble.
Yeah, Kirby Tilt and Tumble. Hold on, I'm super excited for this because I have played Kirby Tilt and Tumble with my GameCube adapter. I am excited. I'm hoping that they did it correctly because, like, it was oh man, you know, Masahiro Sakurai is a lot like Hideo Kojima in that he tends to create new technologies to be able to keep up with the games that he wants to make. So, like, creating a Rumble Pack for a fucking Kirby game, oh man, it was amazing. I spent so many hours playing that fucking game.
Wasn't the issue of playing it on the Game Boy or on the GameCube adapter that you can't tilt the controllers on that system, and so it makes it hard to play it correctly, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Fortunately, the Switch has motion technology built in the controllers and in the system itself, so you should be able to play it the way it's intended to be played.
Well, for Tilt and Tumble, the motion controls was in the cartridge.
Right.
Yeah. So not necessarily the controllers, but yeah, like trying to move a giant GameCube.
Well, I'm saying yeah. I'm saying yeah. Oh my god. So yeah, I think they got the technology to replicate that just fine on the Switch.
Yeah. Okay. I actually didn't see that title, so now I'm super hyped.
And then for Game Boy Advance, which reminder, this is only available if you have the expansion pass of Nintendo Switch Online. For Game Boy Advance games, we've got Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers 3. That's all one game title. That's not two game titles. That's one game title. Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers 3. I don't know what genius at Nintendo thought that was a good way to name this game. But what it is, it's Super Mario Brothers 3 with like an extra 40 levels in it. It's like a remake of Super Mario Brothers 3 with a ton of extra stages. And the way those stages were played in the first place was with like an AR card reader thing or whatever. But this is going to have all those extra stages on it without having to do all that jazz. WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro Games, which is the very first WarioWare game. which is a really fun game. I don't think I got to play this one, but I got to play like the Wii version later. But it's basically like you got like 6-second mini games that are just rolling out really quickly that you have to climb up this like mini game tower thing, and they're randomly different games. So you're given like 1 word or 2 word instructions on what you're about to have to do, and then you just get it, and you have 6 seconds to figure out what you're supposed to do, and then achieve that objective really quick. It's a really quick-paced game. That's really fun, just fun for fun's sake. Kururun is this game that I probably don't know how to pronounce. You get like a stick that's spinning, and it's like a puzzle game, trying to get the stick to move through these paths without hitting walls and stuff. Mario Kart Super Circuit, the first handheld Mario Kart game. I mean,
It was
that's
terrible.
good. Huh?
Hate it.
Did
I
you
hate
say
it. It's terrible.
you hate that? You hate that one?
Yes.
I've not played that one. I don't know if I'm going to have a great time with it after having spent so much time on Mario Kart 8. And with Mario Kart 8, I already have a handheld Mario Kart game. Like the best Mario Kart game.
Want you. Yes, agreed. I want you to play. I played it in its infancy, like when it recently came out, and I didn't own it, thank goodness. But I played it and I hated it. I want you to play it just so you can understand the hate.
Are there any more massive details for this direct? Because otherwise we should probably move on to.
Yeah, let me try to finish up real quickly. We got Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, which is like an RPG Mario and Luigi game for Game Boy Advance. Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, which was made by, I think, Capcom. That one I haven't played, but I'm looking forward to it. You get to wear a hat that makes you so tiny, you're like smaller than Bug. And then they're also adding in the future Metroid Fusion, which is an amazing Metroid game. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Fire Emblem, just regular Fire Emblem. So I think this is the first
that's
Fire Emblem game.
First one, the first one that I played. It's not the first one that was ever made, but it's the first one that ever made Erica. And that's the first one that I played that started my journey of loving Fire Emblem as a series. Like my top 4 Nintendo titles.
F-Zero Maximum Velocity and Golden Sun. And then so we got a handful of other things that were announced. We got the release date for Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp coming out April 21st. We got a handful of other games that are coming out. We got an announcement for Wave 4 of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe new booster course maps coming out this spring, which includes a new stage based on Yoshi's Island and a new playable character, Birdo, which I'm surprised she wasn't already in the game.
Yeah, that is actually a surprise to me too. Wow.
Yeah. And we got a bunch of random stuff, DLC for that. And we got this cultural appropriation Mexican game called Shake It Amigo. Or no, that's not what it's called. It's called Samba and Samba de Amigo Party Central. It's like a dancing game with maracas. And then the biggest announcement, or the biggest thing, I guess, for most people is a new trailer for Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, where they had voiceover by Matt Mercer doing the voice of Ganondorf, showing some teases for the game. It looks pretty interesting. A lot of people are trying to do complete breakdowns of all the little hints and teases throughout that trailer.
Yeah, you played. I got you to play Breath of the Wild around the same time. I believe that I got you to play Horizon Zero Dawn, and you had the same kind of like opinion that Horizon Zero Dawn is better, but where opinions differed was that was not one of your favorite Zelda games.
I played them quite a ways apart from each other, actually, and then I felt like Breath of the Wild was a very strong 7 out of 10 game. I haven't played every Zelda game, but of the ones I've played, it's at the bottom of the list other than Zelda 2. Like, Zelda 2 is the bottom of the list, and then Breath of the Wild is above it. But the ones I've played, the other ones I've played are really good ones, like Ocarina of Time, Link to the Past. The Oracle of Ages, at least to me. I loved Oracle of Ages.
Ocarina of Time is widely considered one of the best, yeah. Ocarina of Time has been considered one of the best of the Zeldas.
Yeah.
I hate how much I disagree with that.
My personal favorite is
my
personal favorite is A Link to the Past.
My personal favorite is Link's Awakening. Breath of the Wild is my third favorite. My second favorite is Twilight Princess, which is also very controversial, but I fucking love that game aesthetically. I own it for every system it's ever come out on. GameCube, Wii U, Switch. Wait, did it come out on Switch?
I don't
probably
think
didn't
so. I think that's the next one people are demanding to come to Switch. I think.
There's not enough systems for them, it seems.
Yeah.
It's a great game. I fucking love it. I played it a lot. And so, like, Breath of the Wild is certainly third on my list. I'm hyped for Tears of the Kingdom, especially since it does feel like Nintendo is wanting a more story-driven Zelda game. I mean, all Zelda games are story-driven, but I guess, like, more modernized story-driven RPG Zelda. It's not bad. I don't dislike it, but yeah, you also didn't dislike it. It just wasn't your favorite.
Right, yeah. Like, it looks to me, it looks better than Breath of the Wild, but I'm not going to get my hopes up personally up too high, because I was pretty lukewarm on Breath of the Wild.
I've gone ahead and linked this page into the chat, so if other people want to follow and watch the direct and see the different segments, they can follow it along. But we're going to move on now to Angel's topic, which is one that's kind of near and dear to a few of us right now, which is some alternate stuff with D&D. Let's see here. Alternate Dungeons and Dragons with the Black Flag project beginning its playtesting this week.
To warn, I do believe I might be approaching a dead zone. I'm just going to try to get through it quickly. The very first playtest is very small, only 12 pages of Kobold Press's Black Flag project, which it feels amazing. Immediately, the character options, there's obviously not a lot, it being 12 pages, but what they do offer is kind of like the skeleton of what the character creation process is going to look like. Lineages being your race, what D&D would call race. Heritage being kind of like, you know how your class has all these features and, you know, your subclass also has features, and those are separate things? Well, they introduced a third feature-giving thing throughout the levels called Heritage, where you get, like where did you grow up? What did you, you know, like you get kind of like stuff based on that. It's amazing. Like, your background is also more robust, and the physical character creation and the act of rolling the dice is already going to be higher. Your ability scores are going to be higher on average because of what they did. So I'm fucking in love with it. I had to resist the urge to DM everybody and be like, okay, I'm making a whole bunch of new heritage. Seems awesome. Let's all switch to this. That's a lot of work I have to do, and I'm not going to do that. But I'm really hyped for it. As like the new, I mean.
Besides that, we only have like a handful of new heritages that were revealed in this so far for this playtest.
Well, I was gonna say I have enough information. I could just fucking roll with my own.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's the energy I was.
Well, and that's supposed to be the
that's the energy I was kind of feeling.
And that's what these games are supposed to be designed for, is to give you the framework and then start to homebrewing your own for your game. So,
yeah. That's kind of like the feeling I was getting was God, this is awesome, and I'm in love with what Kobold, and the fact that it is 100% compatible with 5e makes it like people would be like, are you playing D&D? And I'm like, no, I'm playing Black Flag, and it's the same fucking game. I love it.
Yeah. You know what you might consider doing, and this would still require a fair amount of work, but it might be a little bit less work than your initial thought was maybe just start off with, you know, asking all the players, you know, what kind of heritage you think they would have. You know, were they raised by this group of people or this kind of group of people, or what kind of upbringing they had, and just get some information like that, and then come up with things that you think make
And
sense
slowly
for
fold it into the system.
Yeah,
benefits
that's
for
what
that.
I was going to. That's what I was going to do. Is I know everybody's like backstory as much as possible, and like like their heritage of like where they grew up and stuff like that. And so yeah, I was thinking that could be something I could fucking do.
Slowly fold it in, yeah.
Like make the custom ones. That's kind of like what I wanted to roll with. I've been I'm like do I want to homebrew this? Like am I willing to put the? I'm not saying no. I don't know where I'm sitting at that point right now.
Yeah.
But it might come to pass because if it feels good, if people like it, then I can go to Cobalt Press and be like, yo, we like this system. This is
Yeah, because
I mean, that's the point of the playtest. Anyway.
I think you're supposed to give feedback within like 12 days of the drop of each test. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's a relatively
I mean,
small
and
window.
that could easily be fixed.
But yeah.
Yeah, that can be kind of like fixed by we could have like maybe if I have like a night free, I'd just be like
You're breaking up again. You're breaking up quite a bit.
I'm done.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited about Black Flag 2. I don't know if I'll get a chance to play it within the 12 days for the feedback for this round, but I'm excited for it. I want to see what comes about, and I'm looking forward to the future packets. Really, because this is just the preamble. This is just getting it started. I'm waiting until they really get into the meat and potatoes of the system, and let's see what they can do.
It's not only a smart move by them to step away from D&D. Now they have the footwork of 5e that's now in Creative Commons, so they could face because like Cobalt Press has like an entire library of 5e compatible stuff that people were like, these spells are too powerful, like Deep Magic. I got my hands on the PDF for it, and people were like, these the reviews on it were like, people are too powerful. These spells are too powerful. But like Cobalt Press wants a high-powered fucking adventure. It's very obvious with this character creator.
Yeah.
So like it's really smart for them to build to build a system based on stuff they've already published.
And I mean, people want to play in different power levels. You don't always want to play weak magic. You don't always want to play godlike magic. Sometimes you want to play somewhere in the middle, and so having systems that facilitate those different play styles just helps the overall gaming community.
Yeah, absolutely. Black Flag is amazing. I'm digging what it has so far. I'm super excited.
I'm waiting. I can't wait to see what they come out with next, because that's the stuff that I want to dig into. Anyway,
I haven't had a lot of time to like really like mull it over and really like read all the details, but I like kind of skimmed over a bit. I read like of the document, or at least of the pages, Angel, that you sent me of the document. I read most of it. I know that wasn't the whole PDF. I read most of what you sent me, and at a conceptual level, I really like the idea.
yeah.
I haven't been able to like really think about how it mechanically does things, but I do love it in concept at the very least.
Yeah, it's exciting. The prospects of it are really something.
The things it talks about makes a whole lot of sense. Like sure, maybe your bloodline, like maybe your bloodline is draconic, but you were raised in a mine with dwarves, and so you're going to take on some attributes of that upbringing. And that's exactly what this heritage system is representing, and I think that's a really awesome idea for more character variety.
Yeah, I think they're trying to do something similar.
That's kind of like with Monica. Yeah, Monica kind of has like that system of she's a tiefling, but she was raised by someone wildly different than who she wanted to be raised by. And it's just like there's so much leeway that I could do to like make her tiefling feel different than Levi's or Bryce, one of our other players, tiefling, who has a very similar backstory. And it's like we could, but because they're interacting with different races or cultures, the background or the heritage could be wildly different, separating them considerably and making them feel like a different character, even though they're both the same race and have the same background.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree. It's really
Definitely something to look forward to watching as it develops, grows, and evolves going further. And I think that's the key. Is it's an evolving system. It's going to actually grow with a life of its own. It's not just going to be stagnant and rigid. It's truly a role-playing game system, which means that the players and the GMs and everybody brings something to the table with it, and the playtest is going to evolve because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a win in their column. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, I have no massive topics this week. I am going to do my Kickstarter and my flashback, the vault. And then we're going to go right into our media stuff because I figured we haven't done the vault or anything since the beginning of the year. And stuff like that. First off, we're going to start with Kickstarter. And for Kickstarter this time around, I have Kibler's Compendium of Legends and Legacies. It is a 5e supplement. It's got 15 days to go. All the other ones I looked at to do today had like 7 days or less to go, so I didn't want to run them. Because I like to give us at least 14 days just in case. This one has...
I do not blame you.
Yeah, because I want people to have time to, like, get to another pay period or something if they can. For it. And this one is got 15 days to go. It's a massive book of martial might and magical mayhem for the D&D 5e system with 4 epic new classes, 30 plus new subclasses, 30 plus feats, and over 240 spells. And because it's written in 5e, it means that you can also use it with Black Flag. Because Black Flag is supposed to be fully 5e compatible, which means you should be able to cross-use these different products, which I thought was also a great benefit. Now, you just back it because you believe in it, put any amount of money you want into it. Or, for $1, you can build your own pledge. That's basically back you believe in it. But the PDF is only $20. That's really not bad for that much content. And it is, just to point out, it is already funded. In fact, it's funded 10 times over.
Yeah,
it is funded 10 times over with half a month to go. So if you get in on it,
who's the publisher?
The publisher for this is Kibbles Tasty. I've never heard of them before, but if you look at the image, it looks like a good quality image. It looks professional. And the artwork looks amazing. What now?
Kibbles. Kibbles Tasty.
Kibbles. Kibbles Tasty. Gotcha. All right. So it's not Stibbles, like your Codex of Companions.
No, this is Kibbles. Let's see. The legendary class of the war. It adds the Warlord, the Spellblade, the Warden, and the Occultist as new classes, which of course have appeared in previous editions of D&D, but are now being brought in for this one. Some of them have. Some of them are relatively new. The Warden was in 4th edition, as was the Warlord. The Spellblade has been in various variations like Forgotten Realms, And the Occultist has been in some third-party books from third edition. So this kind of brings back some of those with different variations. Epic feats, over 40 new feats that includes the active martial feats, offering new skills to deploy mid-combat, and a sweeping selection of additional feats. Mythic feats, mystic pass, expert and mastery feats, skill feats, and more. I mean, if you want more tools for your toolbox, this sounds like it's going to work. At $20 for the PDF, or $35 gives you the compendium with virtual tabletop enhancement.
When is this expected to be available?
That is a good question.
As a product? Like whether you are a backer, if you're a backer, when do you expect to get your items? August?
Our estimated delivery time is August of this year.
Not too far
Not
away.
that far away either. Yeah, that's also a good one. That's at least for the
August
for the compendium. Now, the virtual tabletop is October for the VTT plugin, and the hardcover is expected January of 24. So it's still not bad all the way around. The PDF, you can get it by August. You can get the virtual tabletop plugin by October, and you can actually get a hardcover by January if they make their estimates.
I'm looking up what else Kibbles has been doing. They have a compendium of craft and creation, a 300-page hardcover packed with content like Inventor, Scion, and a complete crafting system. They have some free content. Kibbles free 5e content. 6 classes: Inventor, Scion, Warlord, Occultist, Spellblade, and Warden. 30 plus subclasses with options for every class. 100 plus spells. Kibbles generic elemental spells, elements beyond fire. And DM systems: heroic inspiration, reasonable weather effects, useful common items, mythic feats, and variant martial progression.
And then they've got some add-ons down here at the bottom. For additional $25, you can get some spell cards, $5 for an art pack, $5 for a token pack, $20 for a spell reference manual, another $20 for $20 and $55 for 2 of their last Kickstarters. They have a battle system reference manual for $15, skirmish deck and elite deck for $20, battle bundle for $35. So they've got some other great things, and then there's stretch goals they've already unlocked. They've still got 3 stretch goals unlocked. They've got another Warden subclass, battle system expanded, and
those are all the books that they've done?
Well, no, these are the stretch goals that they've still got.
Dude, listen to this. In some of their older content, one of their classes that they created is called Inventor. Listen to this. I think, Angel, you're going to love this. The original Kibbles class, also known as the alternate Artificer, unlocks the potential of what it means to be an Artificer. Wield thunder cannons or wear warplate. Adventure with your very own golem or an endless supply of gadgets. Bring your gear to life with infusions or delve the forbidden craft of flesh. A spiritual successor to the first 5e Artificer, and so much more.
For people who like the Artificer type classes, it'd probably be all over that.
Yeah, I feel like if I ever played a character, it would be an artificer, 100%. I just love them so much.
And I'm usually on the opposite end of that spectrum with not being a big fan of the Artificer, but I do understand it fits some people's games. It just doesn't fit mine.
I made a PC just to see what it looked like. I was like debating whether or not I wanted to, like, if I ever got into a campaign, I'd probably play him. It's a plasmoid, which is like a slime. He's a small plasmoid, and he's a battle artificer that has like this construct that is like a suit of armor for him. It's got like an empty crevice in it in the middle of its suit, where the slime goes into for an extra 2+2 AC, and just like chills out there while it does the battling for him. Fucking amazing.
Well, I've gone ahead and I've linked the Kickstarter in the chat for anybody who wants to follow up on the Kickstarter. You got 15 days to do it. It looks like an exciting product. It really does. And then, in addition to the Kickstarter, I want to go back to the Vault, and I'm going in the way back in the Wayback Machine for the Vault this time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to a classic. We're talking about the first real appearance of Robin Williams in Mork and Mindy.
Oh, my
So
gosh.
I'm talking way back. Pluto has it right
That's
now.
great.
And I thought, Robin Williams is such an iconic comedic actor that we all love. And a lot of modern nerds have not seen where he really got his start. And Mork and Mindy. Mork, for those who don't know, was originally introduced in Happy Days in a one-shot episode that was so popular. The character was so popular that they immediately made a spin-off for Mork and Mindy, where him and Pam Dauber went off and did their own thing. And they pretty much never referenced Happy Days ever again. But Robin Williams made his career with this sitcom that was absolutely hilarious about an alien that comes to Earth to observe our ways. And who better to play a quirky alien than Robin Williams, the absolute master of improv? I mean, he is such a spontaneous, crazy, zany individual with so much energy, and he brought that to the Mork character. And so I wanted to point our newer age of nerds to back when he got started. And you could see his quirkiness, and also you get to see Pam Dauber, who she's a pretty decent comedic foil to him, because she's more of the straight, reasonable Earth girl to his alien quirkiness. And even the guy that plays her father is really nice, and her grandmother is an absolute character. I love it. But all the episodes are available on Pluto right now, so check it out. It's well worth it. Old school comedy that's in the bent that we don't see nowadays.
That's a really good pick, Doc.
That's a what?
I said that's a really good pick.
Yeah,
Doc.
thank you. I just, I wanted to hit something old and classic, and as I was zipping around Pluto just trying to find something of the older stuff, Mork and Mindy jumped out at me. I was like, oh my God, I gotta do Mork and Mindy. Especially with, Robin Williams and everything. So that's this week's From the Vault. It's a good one to bring us into the new year. It's our first From the Vault of the new year. And you really can't honor it with a more classic entertainer than Robin Williams, in my opinion, anyway. So
it's a good opinion.
Yeah, I think so. He's really one of my favorites. For those of you who are in Springfield right now too, B&B Theaters tonight. We're not there obviously because we're doing our thing here and stuff. But B&B Theaters in Nixon, Ozark is also doing a trivia night tonight that I'm a little upset that I'm not there for. Princess Bride trivia. is going on tonight over at B&B Theaters. So,
My wife would love
right?
that.
I would love that. I was like, but I just found out like 2 hours before the show that it was going on. I'm like, I wish I could.
What's happening at B&B Theaters?
Princess Bride trivia.
Oh, yeah. I saw
And I just found out.
someone sharing a post
Yeah, I
about that.
just saw it, the post about it like 2 hours before the show. Speaking of classic from the vault type of stuff, you don't get much more classic than Princess Bride.
Princess Bride is freaking brilliant.
Isn't it?
Bill Goldman, the screenwriter of that film, is a brilliant writer.
And Andre the Giant, arguably one of the
Yep.
nicest individuals to come from sports into acting.
He is the only person I have, the only human that I have in my kaiju section of Funko Pops.
That's because he is a human kaiju.
He is. Andre the Giant is. I will always say is my favorite wrestler turned actor. He really was one of the first to do it well, and not because whenever you see Andre the Giant in The Princess Bride, you don't see the wrestler. But in almost every one of Hulk Hogan's appearances, you almost always knew he was
right.
Hulk Hogan. And I feel like he was one of the first.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's not the first. But I feel like he's one of the first to really successfully move on to acting while wrestling.
Yeah.
How much acting did he do outside of Princess Bride?
He didn't do a lot.
He did a couple.
He did a couple more.
Yeah, he did a couple more things.
He did some cameos and stuff.
But the specific thing was it wasn't a gimmick. It was a legitimate acting role. Versus,
Andre the Giant wasn't Andre the Giant in that movie. He was Cedric.
Yeah.
Yeah. He, people see him, they don't see a wrestler, and that is his acting. And I really do feel like he paved the way for other actors to feel like they can move on into the movie without being a joke. Hulk Hogan's my dad, but his name is still Hulk Hogan, and he just wears his champion belt everywhere in spandex.
Yeah, and that's why I would have been so excited to have gone to that trivia night, because Princess Bride is probably one of the, especially for D&D players and stuff, it is one of the most quoted movies at any D&D table. I mean, that and Monty Python's The Holy Grail are probably the two most quoted.
I had to look up IMDb for Andre the Giant, and I found he was in 2 episodes of The $6 Million Man as Bigfoot.
That's great. Is that all he did for TV and movies?
I'm trying to find anything else that wasn't wrestling related. He was on something called WWF Superstars, and
a lot of that was
the very first time I ever saw him. Unfortunately, Andre died before I was capable of, because I was into WWE as a kid. Most boys were, and but I had this whole box full of taped VHS tapes of Andre the Giant on them, and it was just Andre the Giant. I fucking loved watching those tapes. Man, he was great.
He was in a movie in 1994 called Trading Mom. And so he was in the movie Trading Mom, and then he was in one episode of the the 90s TV show Zorro.
I do remember that.
He was in the 1990 movie, I think it's a movie, it says video, The Ultimate Warrior, but that might be a wrestling thing.
I think that was a video documentary on wrestling.
Hacksaw Jim Dugan, I think, is a wrestling thing.
Hacksaw Jim Dugan is a wrestler, so it was probably a life of documentary or something.
He has a lot of credits, but as you would expect, it's mostly
a
lot of stuff with Hulk Hogan. A lot of things are called something Hulk
Well,
Hogan or Hulk something.
The reason there is because like like behind the scenes during like interviews and stuff, Andre the Giant only lost once, and it was to Hulk Hogan, and like everybody admitted that if it wasn't planned for him to lose, he would have won that too. Like,
well, also in the
oh, he was uncredited in a Cyndi Lauper music video called "The Goonies Are Good Enough," and he was uncredited in Conan the Destroyer, the old 1984 movie of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was uncredited, playing a character named Dagoth.
Yeah. Also, reason behind that thing with Hulk Hogan is because back in the day there was the two factions of the WWE. There was the good guys and the bad guys, and the good guys was Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant and everybody, and then the bad guys was like Roddy Piper and those. And so he's often credited with Hulk because he was on Hulk's team of good guys.
Yeah.
Because they had that break.
If SmackDown vs. Raw PS2 game had a character creation on it, I always made Andre the Giant.
Oh yeah.
It was one of the ones I used to play on the old console WWE game. I liked playing him, and I liked playing Macho Man Randy Savage. They were my two characters.
Yeah, you're right. This is definitely not him playing Andre the Giant. He was playing just a big guy who he was one of the best parts. I mean, that movie, every part was the best part. Like there's nothing bad about Princess Bride.
There wasn't a bad part.
It has constantly been considered one of the best movies ever written. Like it is constantly considered that.
Yeah.
And it is the perfect explanation, or it's the perfect example of what a low magic D&D party looks like.
Here's one of the classic pictures from The Princess Bride when Wesley is trying to throttle Andre the Giant.
Yeah. I love that in that conversation when they're fighting, he's like, I'm usually accustomed to fighting, 5 men or more at a time. Fighting one-on-one is a lot more difficult. And he's like, questions like, I don't understand.
Well,
I should be a lot easier to fight than a bunch of people.
When you fight the groups of people, you use different moves.
Yeah. You use entirely different moves against them.
Yeah. It's not my fault I'm the biggest and the strongest. I don't even exercise.
Yeah.
My favorite line of Andre the Giant has always been the one where he shows up and says, Hey, hello, lady. I found the 4 horses, and I thought if we find a lady, there are 4 of us. He says, Fezzik, you did something right. Don't worry, I'll let it go to my head.
There's this kind of like phase. I'm not saying that Dwayne Johnson doesn't have a more successful career, and I'm not saying that he's not a good actor, because he absolutely is. A lot of the more current wrestlers turned movie stars are like Dave Bautista, stuff like that, are legitimately good actors who could happen to get their start on the like in the ring. And but my respect, and I always say like favorite, but what I really mean is the most respect that I have for any of the wrestlers turned actors has to be Andre the Giant, because I think he was one of the first ones to ever.
Interestingly enough, although they're not actually related, The Rock and Andre the Giant had an uncle-nephew kind of relationship.
Yeah.
So The Rock kind of got a lot of his inspiration to become an actor from wrestling. From
you call him The Rock, and I think it's like kind of like interesting, because I think you still remember him as an actor. I remember early in his career, people called him The Rock because that's how he was known. He was famous as an actor, or as a wrestler.
Right.
But like slowly it became Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and now on movies, it's just Dwayne
Right.
Johnson.
Yeah.
It's just,
You know, I seen him in an interview not too long ago, and he said that wasn't his decision to do that or anything. It was the marketing teams of the movies he was working on. He is 100% down and cool with people still calling him The Rock. He thinks of The Rock as his, still his name as much as Dwayne Johnson is.
and I call him by The Rock because that's what I first really started thinking of as. And so why bother changing unless
Yeah, I wasn't saying that was bad. It was just an interesting evolution in his career,
Yeah.
But
it was. He was only marketable as The Rock, but now he's marketable as
now
Dwayne
he's
Johnson.
one of the most marketable people in Hollywood, even though not everything he's done has done gangbuster. He's still very marketable. Anyway,
I mean, what movie has he made that was a flop, though?
The Black Adam was considered a flop, even though it made good money.
Yeah, there was that, but I think that's the toxicity of
I also don't. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think that was Dwayne's fault as an actor.
No, I thought it was a good movie.
I don't think there's ever. Early on, I guess Race to Witch Mountain is what I called it. I didn't like him in that.
I liked him in Race to Witch Mountain. That one was okay.
It was okay. I guess I didn't say. I guess it's like really harsh. I am ambivalent towards him. In that it didn't. It like his acting didn't. Didn't he play in a Doom movie?
Yeah, he was in the Doom movie, and that one was considered.
Yeah, that was. But it wasn't good.
I don't know if it was a financial flop, but I do know it was a critical flop.
Yeah, it was. It was not something I.
It was a financial flop,
and that was my very first time. Actually, it took me so long for me to be endeared to Dwayne Johnson because of that movie. And, like I watched him in that movie, and then I was like, I was told like he's in so and so or so and so, and I was like, yeah, maybe I'll watch it, whatever. But that movie made me kind of leery about Dwayne Johnson. Just not like not like I should steer clear of the movie. More like this is going to be a meh movie. It's hard to fuck up killing a whole bunch of demons for the sake of killing a whole bunch of demons. And they managed to do that.
So I had fun watching that movie. However, my understanding is fans of the games hated that movie because they steered so far away from the source material, and I wasn't familiar with the source material when I watched that movie. I had never played a Doom game prior to watching the movie. I since played a couple of them, not most of them, but I played a couple of them. And so I have a little more understanding of some people's frustrations. But as a viewer who just was going in to see a cool action movie that had a video game origin thing, I felt that it was really cool. I thought it was really cool. It wasn't good, but I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
And I thought the scene that they did where they showed in first person with the main guy running around and fucking shit up, thought that was a pretty original sequence, and that's probably my favorite sequence of the film.
Now, his first major role, he didn't even really have any speaking parts to, which was
Scorpion King.
What? Scorpion. Well,
was it Scorpion King?
Well, no, it was the Mummy too. The Scorpion King. Because the Scorpion King.
Right. He
was the Scorpion King in Mummy too.
That was his role, but then later on they had the Scorpion King movie, and he had speaking parts.
You're right. I was meaning the Mummy 2 movie, but was speaking in terms of the role he played.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he did a really good job considering the little bit he was on screen for.
I didn't like him in that either.
I loved it.
I mean, all he did was look menacing.
That's what he was supposed to do.
He didn't like. He didn't like. There's a lot of things. Like, also, I wasn't super fond of him in Jumanji. He's not my favorite thing about Jumanji.
It's such a great movie.
I love him in Jumanji too.
Okay.
That said, of the main characters, he's probably my least favorite because it's got Kevin Hart.
That's what I was getting at. That's what I was getting at. Kevin Hart, fucking amazing. Jack Black, fucking funny. Him?
Karen Gillan,
Great.
great.
Yeah.
The Rock wasn't bad. Just of the
He was
four,
the least of the four.
the least
He was the
interesting.
least of the four.
Least of the four.
I didn't really start like appreciating him until I saw Rampage, which Rampage is just a genuinely good kaiju movie. It is genuinely good. It's better than a lot of kaiju movies.
I was gonna say, Doc, notice it's the kaiju film that makes him like The Rock. It's like, these movies of him being an action comedy guy and demon he's taming a giant monster.
The first thing we ever invited Angel onto the show to comment on was kaiju
I'm giving
movies.
you shit, dude, but
yeah, no, I know. 100%. Like it got me to see it and criticize it. I was a huge fan of the games. My grandma used to take us to a laundromat that had the Rampage. And whenever I go to 1984, I always wind up playing the game.
Do they have Rampage at 84? I don't remember seeing it. Is it downstairs?
Yeah, they have it.
Is it downstairs?
Yeah, it's downstairs.
I don't go downstairs anymore because I can't handle the steps.
It's downstairs and like the third and the fourth all the way down. It's down there.
I don't go downstairs.
But there's a lot of good games. Lurch and I and like two other people, and Monica and one other person. Like we played last time we were there. We played the Gauntlet. It's fantastic. If you're in Springfield, fucking go to 1984.
Or if you're in Branson, because they got the Branson location now too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Springfield or Branson.
So that's exciting.
They're both great. Anyway, we're going to move on. We got onto a few different sidetracks.
We really did get sidetracked on that. I forget what the original Vault movie was. I know. Oh, it was Mick and Morty.
Mork and Mindy.
Mork and Mindy.
Mick and Morty. Oh my God.
Okay. Now we're going to go into the regular media part of the show. We're going to go to the media part of the show, which we haven't done in a few weeks because really there hasn't been a whole lot of media going on for us. And now you don't typically watch the Arrowverse, right, Angel?
I don't.
Okay.
No.
So let's start.
I used to.
Let's start with talking about.
I mean, in like 2 months, we won't be either.
Let's start with talking about The Last of Us, just the first couple episodes. Then we can go into The Flash. That way, if Angel needs to go, it'll be fine.
Okay.
So we're going to get out of these Under the Giant picks.
Okay, so now we are in our spoilers territory. Yes. Granted, these are spoilers of at least this show. For Last of Us, the spoilers are from the first episode or maybe the second episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I have honestly enough to say about the first episode. It probably could take up like 20 minutes.
I mean, the first episode was 90 minutes long. It was a
long.
It was the length of a movie.
Yeah, I was. I mean, like I recently played both games. I say recently, like within the last couple of years. I recently played both games on live stream.
Actually, and I'm not even a first-person shooter type person.
Well, Doc, if you're interested in how the game plays out without actually playing the games, you could go to our YouTube channel and watch Angel play through the whole first game at least.
Yeah, where I live stream both of the games.
That's true.
Yeah.
I could, because I really am liking the show. First off, I like their alternate concept for a zombie instead of it being.
We should mention the name of our YouTube channel, Left Claw Studios.
Left Claw Studios, and it is still producing some content. It's just not as heavily producing as it was back when they were a little bit less busy in real life with other things. But they are still putting some videos out occasionally on Left Claw Studios, and we do like to point out that you can go to Left Claw Studios Twitch channel, or you can find them on YouTube, or I
think really you just need to direct to the YouTube
Yeah.
channel. I don't know if the Twitch
Yeah,
has
just-
active
just-
stuff right now,
right.
but the
Yeah, just
YouTube
the
has over
YouTube.
400 videos on
Yeah,
it.
but
Yeah, can I just say, if we can get into The Last of Us.
yeah.
Yeah.
What I really want to,
Well-
something I really want to talk about. I fucking love. So The Last of Us video game, and you're gonna hear me
Well-
like go back and forth. I'm gonna try really hard not for spoilers. The history of Joel is so fucking sad in the games. Like, it was sad. And I can't tell which one is more depressing, the movie or the Netflix series or the games. God, this is so well done.
Yeah,
HBO Max
the
series.
yeah.
Oh yeah, HBO Max.
The pathos in the game, in the movie, in the series, is poignant. It's very, very strong. I was about to say when we were getting started and we got derailed already because we do that. One of the things I like about the whole concept is they went a different route with the whole zombie thing by making it a fungal outbreak. I thought that was very different and unique. And it's right because fungi are colonies. So
yeah, and it's a real thing. It just hasn't. It's not something that's evolved to affect humans. But it's a real thing that affects.
And they were talking.
The cordyceps virus. It'll attach itself to living ants, and then it'll what it does is it releases hormones directly into the ant brain as it grows, directing it. It's almost as if it knows. It's almost as if the fungus actually knows what's around it because it tells the ant to go to higher ground, go away from its pack, go to higher ground to where by the time it does this, the ant is already dead, and it's just like walking.
It's basically a zombie at that point.
And then the cordyceps virus or fungus causes its head to explode, releasing a whole bunch more fucking spores to kill other ants. It's so fucking crazy.
And like they say in the beginning of the show, when they're talking to the one professor who happens to be played by the same guy that plays in The Mummy as the brother, actually, is talking about how the only reason that a lot of funguses haven't evolved to attack humans is because the human body temperature is too high for the fungal organisms to survive. But all it would take is a slight mutation for the fungi to be able to proliferate in that higher body temperature. Because 98.6 is the human body temperature average.
So in the and I've seen you too, like since The Last of Us has been out, a lot of doctors have taken to, a lot of people who study fungi have taken to like answering the question IRL, just so everybody knows. IRL, there's not really a huge chance of this happening because the fungus really only works on creatures that like their motor functions are based on pheromones, which our brains are too complex for that. So like there's no. Essentially, doctors in real life say there's no chance at all that a fungus like this could exist without being genetically engineered to specifically handle our motor functions. But in the world of the Last of Us, it's a scary reality.
And it's so well done. The visuals are great. Like I said, the emotions come through the screen and grab you by the throat. I mean, they really do. You feel for the characters almost from the very beginning. You get emotionally involved, which is the mark of a good media presentation. Is the more emotionally connected you are with the characters, and this show has an innate ability, it seems like, to just grab you and hold on to you.
Did they have the reveal of Ellie in the first episode or the beginning of the
You
second
know,
episode?
I'm on episode 4 myself now, so I cannot tell where each one broke. So I'm the wrong person to ask.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it, because I'm trying to stay on like episode 1 as much as possible.
I know,
but like
I do believe the big reveal about Ellie happens, I believe, at the very end of the first episode, I think.
Okay, cool.
I think that was like the climatic moment where it cuts the credits as they see the red.
Yeah.
But,
oh, yeah. So it was in the beginning of the second episode where we realized. All right. So the first episode deals with loss, right? So Joel looks at Ellie as like doesn't look at Ellie as anything in the beginning, because like he just doesn't give a shit about anyone that isn't family.
right.
Like a constant theme, and I know where this ends, which is why I see this theme early on, is like a constant theme, and that's one of those things I can't spoil yet. For the TV show, for Joel's character, is that he constantly puts the good of the few above the good of the many. Like that is his character. He's not a bad character. He's very, but he's very almost self-absorbed.
But,
like his needs mean more to him than literally everybody else's
right.
needs in the world. And that's kind of like
he's self-prioritized.
just a bit of foreshadowing.
He's self-prioritized. He realizes that the other people are out there, but you know what? You got to take care of number one first, and it's him and his family.
So like in episode 1, we see this really clearly. Well, first we started off in episode 1. We see, we get a little bit more time with Joel's actual daughter, and I honestly, I hate to say it, I forgot his daughter's name, because we get to see her actually like go to school, and we see like kids at school starting to act a little bit odd, and then we see her like go to a watch shop to get her dad's watch fixed.
Steals her dad's money to fix her dad's watch as a birthday gift for her dad.
Yeah. And the game picks up, I think, opens up with her like having fallen asleep on the couch waiting for her dad to come home from work, and she's got, and when he gets home, she gives him the fixed watch. And I think they have that pretty much that same dialogue, so we don't see her go to the store. But then in the movie or in the show, she goes to bed or she falls asleep and he takes her to bed or whatever, and then she wakes up. Joel has left the house because Joel's brother Tommy's in jail or whatever, and he needs to go get him out or something. And then in the game, I think your first interaction with a zombie thing is someone running at the patio door or something.
Yeah,
But in the game, or in the movie or show, Jesus Christ, in the show, we saw earlier her interacting with her neighbor and even going over to her neighbor's house after school and doing homework and helping them out. There's like an elderly lady there. And there's a weird noise coming from inside their house, and so she goes in and she finds the old lady in the middle of like eating the face of of the another adult there or whatever, and then the old lady chases her outside of the house, and then Joel shows up in his truck and jumps out with a baseball bat and clubs her. Saving his daughter.
I did like that the dog next door did not want anything to do with that house. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the dog ran away and did not go back into his
That's
house.
why she went over to the house, is because the dog had run away and she was bringing the dog back, and the dog was like,
But like I remember
that was a uniquely like it was a hair raising. Like whenever you saw the woman in the back, you knew something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah, because there's a moment where like you see the woman in the back kind of not being paid much attention to, and she's starting to have like a weird little twitch that no one's noticing.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, she's gonna be the one that starts it here. Like in this neighborhood, she's gonna be the one that starts it. And so like after Joel shows up, he saves her, and she's like, Joel's daughter's like, did you kill her or whatever? And he's like, I don't know, maybe. We gotta go. And like gets her in the truck. And then like some neighbors come out and yelling. He's like, "What the hell's going on, Joel?" And Joel just says, "Get back in your house and stay inside," and jumps in the truck and drives away as they go to look at the old lady and then get ate by zombie things.
Can I tell you how similar like how much I feel for Joel? Like Joel and Joel's brother, kind of like the brother that's always needing to be taken care of. You know,
Oh God.
his brother always like I feel for that all the fucking time with me. I feel like Joel in that situation with my brother a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. The difference being is Joel's brother is getting in trouble while he's trying to help other people. Your brother's just trying to help himself.
Yeah. But so you know the constant bailing out.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Imagine it lasting until you're 40. Dude, like I don't have the patience.
You're in your mid-30s and just recently.
If I hadn't already disowned my brothers, I would still be bailing one of them out of situations. So.
Yeah. But I think the biggest sign of in this episode of how Joel has that kind of mentality you're talking about is when they're driving. You know, they're driving along and there's a car on the side of the road and there's a family out there. They got like parents and a kid and they're like needing help. Their hood is up and Tommy's wanting to pull over and you know Joel's brother and Joel's daughter's wanting to pull over and Joel's like, no, keep going, don't stop, keep going. Someone he's like, but they need help. He's like, well, someone else will come along and help. We got to take care of ourselves. And someone's like, but they have a kid. Someone else will help.
And that's the character Joel in a nutshell. I mean, that is.
Yes.
He's not a bad guy, but he's like that is a smart fucking move.
It is a smart move.
For self-preservation, that's a smart. He sensed something weird was fucking going on, and he's like, we're getting the fuck out of here.
He's in emergency processing mode, and he's worried about his family, and that's it.
Well, you know, something that they didn't specifically talk about, but they did show via a sticker on his truck was that he was like a veteran. Yeah. And that is such a like fucking refreshing thing where they didn't spend dialogue talking about his experience.
I wasn't sure if it was Joel or his brother that was the veteran, but I did see the sticker on the truck.
No, it was Joel. It was Joel who's the veteran. That's supposed to explain how he's so good at surviving the situation. Like the showrunners are like, let's explain Joel without having to give him.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that's Tommy's truck, and it's Tommy's sticker. Because there's dialogue in a later episode where Joel is telling Ellie about Tommy, and how Tommy is a joiner, and he joined the military as soon as he turned 18, and
that's what I thought too. Because I was thinking it was the brother's truck, and it was the brother's sticker.
I haven't finished episode 2 yet.
I'm in the middle of episode 4, and so.
Because it's HBO Max, I can't like put it on in the background to listen to while I drive.
Yeah.
So I have to like watch it at home, and the times that I can do that when Rory is not awake is very.
Yeah, I understand. Well, we've only got a few minutes left. I do want to touch on the Flash because we've been long awaiting.
I mean, we only made it like halfway through the.
We got more.
We've got 5 minutes left.
We got about 6 minutes that we can talk about the Flash. This is only the first episode of the final season. There's not a whole lot to talk about this time, but I do want to touch on it. First off, Flash is finally back. Hooray. And we basically got a Groundhog's Day episode of the Flash. They're in a time loop. And
Barry and Iris are the only two that know that they're in the time loop, and
every time they die,
Iris is the one who describes it as a Groundhog Day situation.
Wait, didn't they do that like in like season 3 or 4? I swear I saw an episode like that.
They might have. There's a good chance it's happened before. I mean, when you're talking about, here's my favorite thing about it. The first thing Iris did when she realizes she's in some sort of a weird time repeat thing, she said to herself, Barry, what'd you do this time?
Yes. And then later on, she's like, fuck it, I give up. I'm just going to enjoy myself in the time loop.
Yeah. So, like, well, after that realization, she goes back to Team Flash's base, Star Labs, and she gets on the comms. She's like, Barry, did you time jump us? And Barry's like,
I don't know.
he's like, if I did, it wasn't intentional. And then he
And
dives,
then she just
and then they wake up
then she
together.
just starts drinking wine and relaxes. It's like, fuck it. If the choices are to follow this book that you've written about what's going to happen, or fucking just living in this time loop forever, pour me another glass of fucking wine.
Yeah. You know, of all the villains to kill the Flash 57 times, I didn't expect it to be Captain Boomerang.
And it's Captain Boomerang 2. It's a new Captain Boomerang.
Oh, yeah? Did they have a different Captain Boomerang earlier in the show?
Yeah, they actually had Captain Boomerang in like season 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But this is a whole new Captain Boomerang. And so this is technically Boomerang 2.
I didn't remember them having him before, but
Yeah, it was around the. He was around the same episode cluster as Weather Wizard.
Weather Wizard, and
So, yeah.
when Heat Wave first came in.
So yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I watched the episode last night, and I came away not entirely sure why there was a time loop, and not entirely sure what it was specifically that stopped the time loop. But it was kind of funny when Iris reached a certain point where she's like, you know what? Whatever I do doesn't matter, so I'm just going to enjoy it and drink some wine. And do whatever the hell I want until you figure out what's wrong.
The time loop is his lightning interacting with the power source of that nuclear device that Boomerang was messing with. That caused the time loop. We're not exactly sure how because they don't explain it, but...
Well, see, it's weird because it kind of seems that way, but then, like, when we see them, like, go to bed, that one scene, there's, like, these purple, pink, sparkling lights coming from their bodies and through the bed and then down on the floor and spraying out. And we don't get any...
Yeah, those could be,
I have no idea what the heck...
Those could be tachyon particles of some kind, like from from what's his name, the personification of time.
Yeah. But something that was kind of cool that Flash does at the very end of this episode, that Angel might find neat, is a nuclear bomb goes off. And so, like, Central City got destroyed like 57 times, killing everyone, including the Flash. What the Flash did this final time is he touched the bomb, and then just as the explosion started, and the explosion was coming out, he started doing his, like, vibrating thing that causes things to pass through solid objects, and was doing that to the explosion itself.
He phased the explosion. Yeah,
he phased the nuclear explosion through the city, so it didn't cause any harm.
Wow. So did Barry Allen know what, was he getting these memories as well?
Yeah.
Or he was just listening to what...
Barry and Iris both were reliving the day. Not just Iris.
Yeah.
But they were the only two.
And so he had 58 different ways of trying to solve this problem, and the one that finally worked was him phasing the nuclear explosion out so it didn't destroy the city.
The whole city.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking
That
funny.
was one heck of a phase, yeah.
Wait, so I'm confused. What caused the time loop?
Like I said, they didn't implicitly say, but they implied that it had something to do with his Speed Force lightning interacting with the nuclear power source of the device.
Yeah. The very first time he fought Captain Boomerang in the early episode, he throws a lightning bolt at Captain Boomerang. Boomerang deflects it with some kind of a force field,
and
then the lightning strikes the nuke, which sets it off.
And Boomerang.
Well, no, it doesn't set it off right away. It kind of cracks it or something. There's like electrical stuff, and in that seemingly. That's kind of implied, but not explicitly informed, that was the creation of the time loop.
And then Boomerang disappears.
Yeah, he teleports
which
away.
Which is not normally a power you expect from Boomerang. And we do find out at the end of the episode...
Neither is force field.
Neither is a force field.
No.
Yeah.
Someone's providing him with...
Somebody's adding extra tech to him. and the extra tech person is light revealed at the end as being a speedster. We don't know what speedster.
Yeah.
I think too.
Another speedster, it looks
and
like.
it's supposed to be Red Death this season, because it's supposed to be the.
Yeah.
And we do see a dark bat silhouette as they fade out. So we're thinking that the person providing the tech is the Red Death character, which is
Yeah.
Wow, that would be crazy if that was
because well, that's supposed to be the end villain for this season. It's supposed to be Batwoman, not Batman,
That's crazy.
not Batman, but Batwoman as Red Death.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's going
Right.
to have the same woman that played Batwoman in the final seasons of Batwoman, but with the Flash power as well, being the Red Death character, which is going to be an interesting interpretation. And
That is strange. That is certainly strange, but at least she got.
yeah,
You know, I'm trying to think of like the Batman character, how he became the Red Death.
Well, it was an alternate universe.
Was so specific.
It was an alternate universe Batman that got the Red Death power.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with the metal, the heavy metal, storyline.
Anyway.
But or that stuff. But it's just like strange that they're choosing Batwoman or Batgirl.
Batwoman. Was she Batwoman or was she Batgirl? I think it was Batwoman because it's based on the Batwoman TV show.
Okay, if it's her, then it's Batwoman,
yeah. Now it's 10:02, so it is after our show. So we barely squeezed a little bit of Flash in at the end there. And
yeah.
It's only because
I think it's worth.
Hold on. Can I say you guys did a great job? I expected it to be a longer conversation. I feel like I watched the episode because you guys did a great job of like adequately explaining a very strange scenario.
It's a good episode too. Recommend it. It's actually good.
And then there is one other thing I wanted to bring up, but we don't really have time to discuss in detail, I guess, is we got a new trailer for the Flash movie, which looks fucking awesome. It's got Ben Affleck Batman and Michael Keaton Batman, and it looks like he's in it a lot more than expected.
And there's rumors
it's also
there's going to be a third Batman that we don't know who it is.
Maybe.
That's
I don't know if that's the case, but yeah. And then that might be a rumor, that might be wishful thinking from people making rumors. And then we also got a trailer for a new trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 that gives us a good look at the High Evolutionary.
And
it's got
slightly more fleshed out trailer for the Dungeons & Dragons movie, too.
Yeah. God, it's all looking so fucking good.
It is.
So we're going to be feasting soon.
Our movie Fast is becoming a feast. And
yes.
It's going to be amazing. And with those final thoughts, we're going to bid everybody adieu. We will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. From myself and my co-host, thank you for watching. You can, of course, watch repeats of these episodes on YouTube, the Gamer Seuss channel. And as always, my shows are dedicated to Extra Life, part of the Children's Miracle Network, who helps children at hospitals with long-term care conditions. Thank you so much. We'll catch you next time. Remember, play more games, have more fun, watch more movies, and life isn't just about grinding out a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.